Hello out there. Welcome to another edition of All Things Real Estate. Thank you for tuning in today. And what I am talking about on this video is I'm talking to you sellers, and I'm going to answer a question that I get a lot, and that is, should I do a pre-listing home inspection so that I know and I'm not surprised about anything that a home inspector might find that is wrong with my house? I understand that sellers get really nervous about the home inspection process, and that's why this question comes up quite a bit. And I'm going to answer it for you today, so stay tuned.
All things real estate, all things real estate.
Okay, so like many things in real estate, there are a couple of different considerations in answering this question. I always tell people real estate is like a chess game. You got to think 2 or 3 moves ahead in order to get the outcome that you would like. And so this question is no different. It is another move on the chessboard. So number one is, do you think as a seller that there is anything really wrong with your house? That's number one. If you think that there is something wrong with one of the major systems of your house, and I'm going to tell you 5 different things that keep buyers from actually completing a home sale. The 5 things are foundation, roof, HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. Those are the big ticket items that will scare a buyer off from buying your house. If you think that there might be a big problem with one of those systems, then I do recommend that you get some sort of inspection on those particular things. I don't think that you should do a general inspection. I think you should get a specific inspection on any items like that that you think are problematic. So that is number one. If you think anything's really wrong, then yes, let's get it looked at before we list the house so there aren't any big surprises. The other answer is no, I don't think you should get a general inspection before we list your house. The reason for that is that any kind of inspection that you get like that must be disclosed to a buyer. And as a seller, you're not going to ever try to hide anything. You don't want to do that, of course. So of course, if you got an inspection, you would have to, you would have to provide it. But the reason why I say you don't want to do that, you don't want to have to provide it, is because you have to provide it before a buyer makes an offer on the house, right? That's when they're most in love with your house. So actually providing them with a report that's probably 50 or 60 pages long, telling a buyer all the blemishes and things like that about your house is not going to benefit you. And if I'm representing you as a seller, I'm going to try to make everything to your benefit, right? So we don't want to provide a buyer at that point in time with anything that says, here's all the ugliness about this house before they make an offer or get under contract. So that is why you don't really want to do a general inspection from an emotional sort of buyer standpoint. The other reason that you don't want to do a general inspection and provide that to a buyer beforehand is the buyer is probably still going to get their own inspection on your house. And that inspector is probably going to focus on some things that might be different than any inspector that you get to do your house. So you found out all these little different things that might not be great about the house, and then you've got another layer of inspection where the buyer's inspector is going to find out a bunch of little things about your house that they don't like. So you've almost got like a 2-tier effect of little blemishes and things like that that might be going on with your house, and it's just, those things are not helpful. If every inspector found the same stuff, then yeah, you might want to do a general inspection beforehand, but they just don't. They all come up with different stuff to say, different stuff to focus on, different opinions also. One inspector can say, hey, the roof looks fine. Another inspector can say, oh my gosh, the roof's fixing to fall apart. So you just never know what an inspector is going to say. So you don't want to do a pre-inspection and then have another inspector come on behalf of your buyer and that kind of thing. So that is my take on pre-listing inspections. If you've got a big problem, let's look into it and get that addressed and figure out what we're going to do before we list if you think there is a big issue. If you don't think there's a big issue with your house, I really just suggest that you go ahead and list your house, hopefully with me, if you're going to give me a call. You go ahead and list your house and let the buyer do their inspection, or not, if you get lucky. The buyer won't even do one. But let the buyer do their own inspection, and then let's deal with any issues that come up then. That is really the best strategy for you as a seller. So that is my take on that. If you've got any questions related to that or anything else in real estate, I hope you give me a call. And if you're liking these videos, I hope you subscribe as well. So I hope to see you also, lots of hopes in there. I hope to see you also next week on another edition of All Things Real Estate. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
All things real estate and all things real estate.